Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm giving you my full initial review of the Nikon Z 24-70 2.8 lens. Now this lens has been really great the last 2 weeks I've been using it, and I'm so excited to share my thoughts with you on it. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is autofocus. And I want to preface all this by saying I'm actually recording this review on the new Z 24-70 right now. As you can see, it tracks pretty well, at least that's what I think. So yeah, I've had great experience so far with the autofocus on this lens. Using it in photo mode, single point, and continuous, it seems to do really well, even in low light. Sometimes it struggled though, I will admit that. It did kind of go in and out of focus sometimes when it was really low light, but overall it performed really well and kept sharp focus throughout all the focal lengths that I was using. Now, another interesting thing about this lens is that it has virtually silent autofocus, which is pretty incredible. In fact, at first when I was using it, I didn't know if it was focusing or not because it was just that quiet. You know, I'm used to hearing the autofocus motors within my lenses, and so it was really weird having a virtually silent lens autofocusing. But that's really great for, you know, if you're in some type of wedding and you're trying to be quiet or whatever, that's gonna help you stay stealthy, if you will. But yeah, I've had great experience so far with the autofocus. Video autofocus seems to be good in most cases, but I did notice some struggles at the 24mm focal length. Let me show you an example. So here we have the 24mm focal length right here on the lens, and you can see my brother coming towards it. You can kind of see it going in and out of focus trying to keep track of him, and then by the time he gets close enough to the camera, it stays on him pretty well. I'm not sure why that is. I guess I was kind of in a backlit situation. You can see the background was kind of blown out in the highlights, but overall it was struggling there. It was struggling. However, when I zoomed in, here's another example. When I zoomed in, it seemed to actually do better. And as you can see, it flawlessly tracked him walking towards the camera, and he was actually walking towards the camera faster than he was at the 24mm focal length. So I don't know what's going on there, but hopefully with firmware updates to the Nikon Z system's autofocus system, hopefully that can be fixed with some firmware updates. But who knows? It's just kind of a weird scenario in terms of autofocus. Overall, guys, I've got to say the autofocus is really great on this new Z 24-70 2.8. Another thing I love about this new Nikon Z lens is that its design is just beautiful. Number one, you have 3 rings. You have the control ring, you've got a zoom ring, and you've got the manual focus ring. I really like the control ring. I think it's really innovative and it's a great idea from Nikon, and I think Canon has one as well. You can use this for aperture, you can use this for exposure compensation. I'd like to see ISO added to this and maybe some other functions as well. But yeah, this control ring is really innovative and I like this a lot. Another thing is that this has that OLED display on there that you can actually change what you want it to display. So obviously you can change it from the focus meter. You can also change it to your aperture, seeing where your aperture is at. You can also use it to see where your zoom is at. So you can see more exact, like, you know, 46.5. That's where you're at on the zoom ring and all that. Pretty cool idea from Nikon. Some people claim it's gimmicky and whatever, but similar to the touch bar on the MacBook Pro, I think this will become very useful in the future for many different types of people and their styles of photography. So that's a great design choice by Nikon. One of the biggest things for me about a lens is that it has to be extremely sharp, okay? The point of this Z system and the bigger mount is so that you have better sharpness, more light let in, and just overall better image quality output. And I've got to say, this lens definitely delivers in those departments. Its edge-to-edge sharpness, I haven't noticed any issues with like chromatic aberrations or any type of weird things going on, aberrations in the images that I've taken into the light, you know, in low light, in whatever kind of lighting situation you can think of. I've really had no problems with it in terms of sharpness. It's so sharp, and I was just really blown away by the quality I was getting out of this lens. And even On a side note, the colors and contrast of this lens are really great as well. In fact, I shot this in the flat profile mode for video, and I was just surprised how vibrant it still was even on the flat Nikon picture profile. So yeah, I mean, overall sharpness, color, contrast, great on this lens. You will not be disappointed if you pick it up. Let's talk about ergonomics for a minute. This lens has great hand feel. I'm just gonna be honest with you. The hand feel in this lens, the zoom ring is super smooth. In fact, all the rings are smooth, but like it's like smooth and almost, I don't know what the term would be, padded or weighted. It's just incredible when you're zooming with this thing. I was like, man, because coming from my 70 to 200, it's like super loose. This is like resistant, but it's smooth. And I really like that about this lens. The design and the hand feel of it are just fantastic. Now, overall, this lens is really expensive. In fact, it comes in at around $2,300. And honestly, that is crazy expensive for a 24 to 70 2.8. And so the big question comes down to, do you think it's worth it to buy this lens? If you need the extra stop of light, if you're going to be shooting in low light, if you want it for like portraits, like shallow depth of field and all of that, great autofocus in terms of video and photo, and you just want an overall nice professional lens, then yes, I think you should go for this lens. And I think even though the price is kind of pricey, it'll be worth it in the long run. Now, if you mostly shoot outside in great lighting, maybe in a studio setting, maybe the F4 is a better choice for you, but overall, you're gonna have to pick which one you want. But for me, I needed the F2.8, not only for the video purposes, but for portraits, because that's what I like to do. Obviously, I'm a portrait photographer. Overall, guys, I really have enjoyed using the 24 to 70 2.8. This lens is incredible, and I think you definitely should go check it out. And if you can afford it, pick it up, because you're not going to be disappointed. If you want to check out some sample images and video, you can go to the links in the description, and that's where I'll have them. And if you have any questions, of course, put it in the comments below. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I possibly can. But I hope you all have a fantastic day, and thanks for watching the review. Keep watching this channel for more content like this. Thanks, guys. Lingle out.